Okay, I'm back with the next step in the study series for the Salesforce Platform Developer 2 study certification. And here I have a integration that I built. Basically, it's a Python, a Flask application that very basic version of one that integrates with Salesforce by posting some information, very basic JSON requests. Now, this is a very scaled down version of an application I'm building on another org, but I did want to kind of walk through it in a sandbox org and create a video about it, just walking through it and putting it into the study series. So I'll go ahead and read through this. Like I said, this is scaled down, but this is a scaled down user story. As a recruiter, I would like to allow candidates to submit an appointment request with their location and email. To prevent duplicates, I like for the submission to be matched with an existing candidate if possible. And the acceptance criteria is the candidate can submit their appointment request and location, and it will be matched against their existing profile. And so the form that we're going to use is only going to show only going to request the location and email for this scaled down version. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the Python code. All right, so what I have here is basically a Flask server, the app.py and the Flask application. The addresses I just added to an array. These are some properties that are on the market down in the White Marsh area of Maryland. The only reason I added those is to make it easier. These are actually considered the location, quote unquote, for the purpose of the application. And basically, we only have one page. That's the home page. A GET request is going to provide the page itself, and a POST request, which will be when a button is clicked, it will click off a bunch of activities. Basically, it's going to get a Salesforce token. That token is there's going to be some other logic in the background to check and make sure that it's not expired and all that. I'm going to stop this server right now. Click save. I'm also going to remove this for the purpose of the video. But yeah, so basically we're just getting an address and an email from the user. And on the Salesforce side, there's some other stuff that's going to happen when that gets over there. But the main methods here are this access token, getting the access token, and here's the method here. It's going to get credentials from another file that I have, username, password, client secret for the application, the connected app, client ID, and password, and it sends that to this public URL endpoint to get the Salesforce session ID or Salesforce token. This is the method that I'm going to use to call to my individual org. Basically, and this is the name of the method, and we'll show you that later. And this is the main page. Ignore these red squiggly lines. VS Code really doesn't understand that we have this Flask Jinja code wrapped up inside some JavaScript, and which works fine, but it just VS Code just doesn't understand it. And so, like I said, we have these properties that we hard coded, and normally we would look up in a database and use them, in an autocomplete. And I'll show you that later. And yeah, so there is the Python code, and we'll go ahead and take a look at the Salesforce code. So on the Salesforce side, we have this endpoint that I mentioned, schedule appointment, which is the name of the class. We made that global in order for it to handle integration. We have, so when we're going to receive this JSON body, we're going to add it to a map, and then we parse the map values. Like I mentioned in the user story, we want to check and see if that contact exists. If they do, or if they don't exist, we'll create one. If they do, we'll go ahead and use that particular contact in an insert for the case, because we're creating a case based off of what was submitted in this form. So let's go ahead and check out the UI. So here is, let me make sure I start the server. Oops. Oops, ignore that. Okay, now we have the server running. I'll go ahead and refresh. And so we have autocomplete to show the locations that we're going to use. We'll just use this one here. This is not actually my email, but this is the email I use in the org that we can match against. So we'll go ahead and schedule the appointment. And we see that it was successful. It went through. Status, we see a return response here. We got a status of success. And let's go over to the org. Okay, so here are all my open cases. And let's go ahead and refresh this page. And here we go. So we just scheduled this appointment. Actually, we did this one earlier. Yeah, so here's the appointment that I just requested, and that's it. So that is a integration that we created between an external application, which would be stored, obviously on an AWS server or something like that, or an Azure instance, and Salesforce. There's a lot of authentication that goes on in the background, and you have to go ahead and submit a request for a token or a session ID. Then you use that session ID to make the post request into the application. So that's it for today. The next one I believe will be doing a complex validation. So that's going to be kind of fun. That's also part of the Salesforce Developer 2 study guide that I'm working through. And that's about it. You guys, thank you for watching all the way through, and have a good day. Bye.